There we go. There we go. Oh, hey. How's it going, Ben? Good to see you. Looks like you tuned in just in time. Yeah, that's for sure. You were here before I was. I hope you're doing well today. This evening, I think, for you, where you're at, if I remember correctly. Oh, I'm feeling good. Feeling ready to keep working on some stuff. Did not get a notification, though. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you're not the only one that mentions that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what to do about that, unfortunately. I'm not sure if it's a thing on my end. Um, yeah, I don't know. I always wonder if it's because I don't always update my stream info. It maybe doesn't. Something goes wrong and it doesn't notify people, but who knows? But anyway, you're here now, so lucky tune in, and here I am streaming. All right, so, oops, let's see. From Germany, you're kind of okay. Got your second. Hey, Thrashton. Uh, Ben, got your second vaccine yesterday. Congratulations on that. Today it's kind of okay. How are you? Yeah, I'm doing very well today. Feeling good. Yeah, good luck with the second dose. Some people report that it can make you feel a little bit off, but just take it easy and you'll be good to go. And hey, Thrashton, got a job interview tomorrow. Best of lucks. Best of lucks. Best of luck. Congratulations. Hopefully that goes well for you. And you know next to nothing. Uh-oh. Is it programming related job interview? Hopefully you can prepare a little bit and feel comfortable doing it because, well, yeah. I mean, interviews are nice. If you're looking for a job, that's a good thing. hopefully, hopefully it goes okay for you. All right. The first interview. Oh, the first vaccine. Sorry, I'm mixing people here. Thrashing, it's a C interview and it's low level stuff. Have you used C before? I think you might be at least a little bit familiar with C, right? I wonder if it's a job that you're learning on the job a little bit or you have the opportunity to. Hmm. Sounds cool. You've used C++? Okay. That could be helpful. I see what you'll do there. Have you ever heard about MariaDB? I've heard the name of that. I don't know much about it. But Ben, I missed something here. The first one was robbing all energy for 2 weeks. That's your first vaccine, I assume, is what you're talking about there. Yeah. Let's hope this one's not going to be so hard. Yeah. Hopefully, just drink water, rest, and let it pass, and you'll be good to go. It's worth the temporary pain. So you're making good healthy choices overall, I think, which is nice. So MariaDB is a fork of MySQL, so the job is in MariaDB. The job is for the MariaDB project. Fascinating. That's exciting for you. Should be a cool project. Gotta meditate with some parens. Well, Thrashton, that sounds like a pretty compelling position if you get it. Good stuff. Yeah, Ben, you gotta just sit and zen out, with the parens. Relax. Let the S expressions flow through you. All will be well. If you get it, yeah. Yeah. Fair enough. Okay, so I'm kind of making a little function here. Oh yeah, Ben Thrashton shows up from once in a while and talks about Common Lisp basically every time. Thrashton, I'm pretty sure doesn't use Clojure, at least not regularly, but they use Common Lisp, so there's a little bit of overlap there anyway. Oh, hey Thrashton, you're throwing darts at me now, aren't you? Huh? You don't consider Clojure a Lisp? Get out of here with that. Come on. It's not common Lisp, that's true, but it is a Lisp. I don't know what definition you're using there. Meditating in parens. Nice one, Ben. I love that. I'm gonna leave that here. Let's do this. There. Not even supposed to feel them. Tiny, tiny darts. All right, Thrashin, I can take it. So, in all seriousness, it's all good. But if you or anyone starts being really, really a big bully about this is the best language for sure, that's not fun. Okay, we're all having fun here. Whatever language works, whatever language you love, they're all relatively useful. Some are crazy to use, some are really pragmatic. There's a whole spectrum. It's all good. And I know you like Common Lisp, and Clojure's most of the way to a Lisp, so you know what? I'm going to count it. Boom. Was that the first open source contribution I did unconsciously? There you go. Let me credit you there, Ben. There. There. Hopefully, I better not delete that. It should stay. I think it's good. Just been feeling sarcastic, Thrashin? That's fair enough. Good enough. Good enough. You've been digging C, GDB, and Linux kernel stuff today. Messing around with that low-level goodness, huh? Trying to prep for that interview? Feeling good? Okay, so let me show. I'm working on this function here, clean namespace declaration. And I have a node from the tree that I'm working on. And it has, the content is this list of strings which makes up a namespace. The goodness of it. I mean, it can't all be bad, right? Some of it's cool. It's just different. Sometimes you have to think outside of the parens. Even if you don't like it, it's part of the deal. I think we'll all be good. Thank God I never had to go through an interview process until now. Yeah, I don't envy anyone trying to set up for interviews. They're not fun. I don't think they're really fun for anyone on the whole, you know? You feel kind of judged, you feel on the spot. The interviewer probably doesn't totally want to be doing it, you know, because they're busy or whatever. And it just kind of, there's a lot of friction involved in them. So getting them is exciting. Getting them finished is more exciting, you know? Right, so this here, clean namespace declaration, I'm working on, let me actually call the function, please. There we go. C. So I'm working on transforming the namespace code by removing blacklisted entries. And the reason I'm removing blacklisted entries is because when I compile an org file to the web page output, it's Clojurescript, and there are sometimes Clojure libraries that are irrelevant in the browser. And so it's just, if I can just pop them out of the namespace without wrecking the project, which is the goal here, obviously, then I get a nice operation right away. So I'm almost there. I just wanted to manipulate this string a little bit further, and I think I missed... No, it looks good, actually. Things are stepping in the right direction. Hey, Mike, how's it going? Ben, I'd rather keep the UX job, do some data science and ML on the job, and code for fun in the free time. Yeah, fair enough. Well, if you're happy where you're at, there's no reason to look for changing, right? If you feel comfortable, if you feel day in, day out, you're challenged in the way you want to be, you feel comfortable with your colleagues, all of that's great, right? I hope all of those things for everyone. I don't want anyone to be working in a bad situation. It's never fun. Hey, Mike, what's up? Yeah, Ben's asking what's up. Hope you're doing well today, Mike. Putting out those fires as usual, I assume. Okay, so I've got this new namespace here. Now, weirdly, I spent all this time manipulating the data, turning it back into a string, and then I'm immediately splitting the string to get it back into the right format for the node. Seems convoluted, and maybe I can clean this up later, but it will get me the result I need, which is a good step. So here, if I do string slash split lines, oh, I don't need to put it in split lines like this. That should give me effectively the right content. So if I do this, assoc content, xf content, like this. So here we go. So if I print C and I print the new modified C, the attributes remain the same. The type and block, all of this stuff is the same. But the difference is, I think there's a spacing issue here, but I'm going to just be okay with that for the time being. It looks like we have, so here, these two here, Hiccup and Clojure Java Shell won't work in the browser, and it correctly removes those from there. So that's exactly the result I was hoping for. So boom, we've got clean namespace declaration working. And now it's a matter of building the one defin clean namespace decls, and you pass it an org, and we can go from there. Today was a code review day. Blech. Oh man. A little bit boring, but probably a really necessary part of the day, right? I'm going to guess that code reviews end up being pretty useful for teaching newer people and for catching things before they become a real big problem. Is that fair to say? I'm assuming that's what they're useful for. Yeah, Mike, what's remind the crew again what you work on? Whatever you're allowed to say. Obviously, don't share proprietary job information. Don't want anyone to get in trouble. Okay, so that successfully cleans up one node. Let's go. So I'm excited here. I'm gonna get this. The NDA is hereby lifted. Oh wow! So Ben declared it. There's no issues. You're absolved. Boom. We're lawyers. Oh my goodness, please don't break any rules on my stream. Sue me. Careful, Ben. Careful. We don't know who's watching. I'm trying to remember now. What's the pattern I used here? Oh yeah, so we've got remove result and remove results. So this is kind of what I'm looking for here. So here, I've got clean namespace declaration, and if I go here to clean namespace declarations, S, this is the one I'm using. This one's private. All I have to do here is turn the org tree into a zipper, then tree edit that zipper, where instead of match result, I do match namespace. That's a... Oh, did I not load it? Hello? Load file, source, radish, main.clj. I'm excited to show how this actually works in just a second. Why? What am I doing here? Oh, it is match NS. Gotta remember the code I wrote. Yeah, the changes were in something like 150 plus files, which is tiring. Oh man, that is exhausting. That's you have to like make a whole map in your own head for the. You have to like basically recreate a file system in your head for that kind of thing. You work for a health literacy company. Got a web platform used to educate people about a multitude of medical conditions and health tips in a gamified way. That's short and sweet of it. Sounds good though. First data science interns, also in med tech. Pays the bills. I like being in a healthcare space. Yeah, that's really quite a compelling thing, eh? Like you get to work on stuff you enjoy doing and are competent in, which always feels really good. Pays the bills, obviously really helpful. keeps the keeps your head level, right? And yeah, being in healthcare space, that's nice because it's tool you're building tools that are specifically built to be helpful to people. I totally get that. That is compelling. That's really exciting. Even though sometimes you're putting out fires and get exhausted, it's a nice space to be working in, right? Who said anything about being competent? Oh, I assume too much. Sorry. You're incompetent health professional, Mike. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. Right. So match NS. So this tree edit thing is really quite cool. You turn your tree structure into a zipper, which is a data structure type where it basically, whatever tree structure you have, it kind of, the data structure holds on to the entirety of the tree itself, but focuses in on a node in that tree. And at each node, you can zip left, up, down, like you can navigate through it, and then you can match on node data, and then you can even swap nodes out and then return the new tree by zipping up to the root, and then you get a whole transformed tree. It's really quite cool. That's a very weak explanation. I'm working on I think I want to make a blog post about the tree edit stuff because I don't fully understand it yet, but I know it's really cool and not too complicated once you get your head wrapped around it. So that might be a fun either video or blog post or combo, but I'm sidestepping what I'm actually supposed to be doing here. Did I accidentally delete a word there? I might have. All right, so instead of remove result, I'm just now going to run clean namespace decl on that. Okay, so that should work. Now let's see here. So if I run clean namespace declarations on smells imposter. Mike the imposter, huh? The imposter syndrome, maybe? I'm sure Mike is more competent than he lets on. Okay, so clean the namespace declarations for the tree that comes from org/parse string of slurp radish logo.org. Hey, it didn't error out. That's perfect. Okay, so I know there are two namespaces in here. There should be one. I'm just doing an eyeball. I'm just quickly eyeballing things here. Oh yeah, right here. So yeah, that namespace is. Oh, it looks a little. I think something went a little wrong with the formatting, but it's still a valid namespace declaration. It's just on one line as opposed to two. So not perfect, but let's try that one more time. Slurp. Yeah, so something's a little goofy there. But I'm gonna go ahead and try to run things anyway and see what happens. I've been discovered. Not even really a dev. Oh man, Mike, you've been I've been misled this whole time. I don't actually care if you're not a dev. Like people who aren't devs can totally watch. But I'm pretty sure you're actually a dev, Mike. I'm pretty sure. I feel as if you've used a computer once or twice in your life, at least. That doesn't make you a dev, but it's a step in the right direction. Okay, so I do actually realize that there is one problem here, and that problem is in the situation where I have a code block that has a namespace declaration and other code declared within it. I am neglecting to keep that other code snippet So I know I have to fix that, but before I do, I am gonna try to run. I am gonna just try to run an advanced build to get some of the basics going, and then see where I can next start working on things anyway. Because I'm getting closer to the right spots, to the right. What am I saying? Okay, so assuming the clean namespace thing works, I now need to incorporate it into the org build process here. And that's going to show up actually in the org content here. So what I want to do is, so remove results, clean namespace declarations. That should all be good. And I think there's one more thing I can do right away, and that would be if I look at do I have match depths? I do. Okay, so I want to do get nodes of org/zip of org/parse string of slurp radish logo.org. I want to get the nodes that match depths. Perfect. Because the reason I want to do this is in the export currently it actually displays the depths as a source block as well, and I don't need that, so I just want to remove that as well. And I'm pretty sure this one's safe to just remove completely. So basically here I'm gonna do another copy of remove result and just modify it slightly. It's just going to be remove depths. New content. Actually, I am going to completely remove the node. So how do I do that now? There is I think I've kept that somewhere in here. Sorry, I thought I had made a specifically remove node function. Suppose not. Well, okay, let's just do this. Can I just do... I think I can literally just put nil. Remove depths. Let's see if it works. If it doesn't, I can fix it later, right? No big deal. So remove depths would be... remove depths node. Right, and then remove results remove depths. I probably have to fix the naming of these things a little bit because they might get a little confusing. And or I could probably consolidate this this pattern of things a little better, or just organize the code a little more so that it flows. It's a little easier to read it, but get it working, get it clean. That's the order of things here. So remove depths node is where I want to go with that. So let's see how that goes. So if I do here, excuse me, whew, remove depths, there should be a nil kind of near the top. Okay, that didn't actually work. Well, let me do a different thing, and then for a second, just to get something, an indicator that I'm in the right ballpark here. So let me make new content just be instead of drop to content, it's just going to be this here that says depths elided, because I'm fancy. Use words like elide because it's fancy. Fancy dancy, baby. All right, let's give that one more try here. Remove depths. Whoops, I scrolled too high. Scrolled too close to the sun. Now I don't know where I'm going. Okay, let's go like this. Scroll slowly. Soon enough, I'm going to actually compile this so we get a nice visual output and I can contextualize what I'm trying to do a little bit. I realize this might be confusing to follow initially. Oh, you know what might be a more sensible way to remove the depths is just edit the content and comment it out. So it's still visible as a text block in there. It's just not compiled. Well, sorry, evaluated in the browser. That might be a better approach. But for now, we'll see. Should be up here. Depths elided. Okay, so it is working. It is manipulating that node. There is a way to properly just pop the node out completely. I just don't remember it at the moment. And for now, I'm going to leave that as is so you can still see the full structure on the export. That's pretty good. Now, right now what I need to do, head on down to org content. Here I'm going to do remove depths, remove results, clean namespace declarations. Okay, we're going to give that a shot. And now we're going to try run advanced compile, advanced build. The org string is slurp radish logo.org. Okay, so now this takes a minute because I haven't worried about optimizing anything. Plus, so the advanced build, what it's actually doing is generating an entire Clojurescript project, including the Shadow-cljs compiler configuration. Then it's running the Shadow-cljs compiler to get the JS files with the proper namespaces included. Then it's putting the JS into a folder structure that you can upload to a browser. So it's building an entire project semi-automatically. Well, it's doing it automatically. There's some static files that are used. There's some dynamically generated things. It's a whole thing. And hopefully I'm getting closer to a real working situation. And we can go from there. The reason I need to do an advanced build is for handling anything that is an external Clojurescript dependency. If I want it to properly use that library in the browser, I need to have it compiled. Okay, so if I do open radish logo /index, it generated, ooh, okay, so it didn't work. Not completely anyway. So here, right, it did transform the namespace. It just happens to not be working. But let me copy this namespace into this here. And you can see, so the result is nil. It looks ugly, but it actually is loading the proper library. And I'll just manually fix this to show you that it actually does work. There's just things I have to improve. So that's not true, is it? Huh, well, maybe I am wrong. Maybe it's just not working. I felt as if I was close. Well, okay. Oops. We'll get there. We will get there one day. Okay. Oh, I know why. This has to be, there we go. Yeah, I always forget that. So in namespace, you have to quote it, the symbol. There we go. So that's proof positive that it actually evaluates this stuff into a namespace. If you say in namespace, then everything you define here will be defined into that namespace. So you get a proper radish logo, blah, blah, blah. That's all working. Here, we can do the same thing. Oh, I have to, there we go. There's some reload issues. I have to work on that, but again, forgetting to do this. Okay, so here, boom. So all of that manual editing, I'm gonna automate away. But the point is, it is properly loading the dependencies that were required here. So deps elided, that works. This, I have to figure out why that didn't end up working properly. I think I may have messed up the node structure, but that is a fixable problem. Yeah, so, oh yeah, look at that. I think that's a little strange, but I can fix that. That's just a implementation problem, not a big deal, because it has the correct, like the text is correct. It's just not put into the right node or the right DOM element. And then the next thing is to properly. I want to have the in namespace thing happen dynamically and implicitly. Like I want this line to be evaluated but not visible, so that it looks more. It's a smoother looking read. But long story short, we do have the right dependencies getting compiled into the project. It's just a matter of formatting everything appropriately, which I'm extremely happy about. That's very exciting to me. Okay, so let's go back to figuring out how to fix the namespaces. Oh, first of all, see here, yeah, there's definitely something wrong with the namespace here because the same problem happened at the end there. So let's do that. So let's clean namespace declaration of, I have C as a single node to test on. Oh, of course. I didn't actually... Did I not do that? Huh. Here's what's wrong. This here, clean namespace declaration, is emitting just a string. It's supposed to emit a proper node structure, which I must have forgotten to do. Spelled just wrong on the bottom of the page. Oh my goodness. Can I even call myself a dev at this point? Ridiculous. Good catch there. Calling me out. Calling me out on my lazy spelling, huh? Fat fingers. Keeping me honest, Mike. Okay, clean namespace declarations. We can fix that. It's a nice, easy fix. If I can remember where I put it. There we go. Right. I so thought that I fixed this. I guess I didn't. Code review here to help. Is that, Mike, is that the level of code review? You search through 150 files and find typos? JSUT, didn't you know that's the hip new language? You're darn right. Mike, the human spell checker. Yeah, you're not a dev, you're just a really efficient spell check on code source. I love it. Sounds like a very useful, sounds like a very good use of your time. I'm sassing you a bit now. Give me a little bit of sass. Just a little bit. Basically a walking dictionary and thesaurus. Oh boy. Super useful. It's not like we have those things kind of automated in a lot of ways already. Careful, Mike. The AI is taking over your job. I mean, for what it's worth, it's going to take over a dev's job too, right? There's what's that called? Copilot with GitHub. Stealing everyone's open source code to make worse code. Hey man, text messages read like, "How are you? My job is secure for years." True. Good point. And you could make the argument that you'll always have a valid job because language evolves faster than the AI can learn the new language, or something to that effect, right? Like literally equals figuratively now, like they're equivalent because language evolves in strange ways. You'll never be out of a job. All right, let's run that advanced build one more time and see if we can't get a better result. The other thing I noticed, the in namespace check or addition I was making happens browser side, and I missed a quote character, so I will have to fix that in the script. I think that's manageable. I don't think that'll be too challenging. Excuse me. The one thing, well, at this point I'd say we should all quit GitHub monetizing open source. Yeah, I have misgivings. So I use GitHub for my MIT projects here. I don't know how I want to handle things, only because going to GitLab or self-hosting and stuff like that has its own set of admin problems that I don't currently have the time to manage. Additionally, discoverability of tiny little projects like mine are probably better if I stick them on GitHub. It's not perfect, but I live in an imperfect world and I can't have everything the way I want it. So for now, I'm hesitantly sticking on GitHub, but I'm keeping an eye on it, you know? Copilot wasn't a great idea on their part, to be honest. Same as VS Code with telemetry. Yeah, so VS Code, as I have it installed, but since I've learned about the telemetry stuff, I mean, I use Emacs way more anyway, but I do not use VS Code. I don't like the idea of the telemetry stuff. Just like I have a I have a Windows computer that I use literally only for this stream. I use it because it's easy. OBS works well on Windows, all that stuff, but it just seems like basically Windows, the OS, is kind of just advertising itself and its own updates to you constantly, and I don't like that. But that's just a subjective, gushy feeling, you know? It's a Microsoft project, so you knew the devil you're getting into bed with there. Yeah, no, that Mike, that's totally true. And I mean, it's true with GitHub too. They've been owned by Microsoft, right? I think for a few years now. So it's not surprising, but it is disheartening. If you build from source, telemetry is not included. Oh, in VS Code, yeah. Well, the two editors I'm comfortable with sticking with and learning and building off of for myself are Vim or NeoVim and Emacs. I'm gonna go on a tangent again for a minute while I poke around this new project, see what comes out. Yes, okay. This is a successfully modified namespace. The only thing I don't like is the oops. It didn't. It's not auto formatting, which I don't love, but details that I can figure out later. It's technically just a presentation issue, not a functionality issue, which is good. Depths elided, of course I want to see that. Here, there is still a problem because technically, this is chopped off some actual source from the original, so I do need to fix that. So we'll get things from there. I'll go from there. If you also, there's a separate binary made by the community. MS also owns npm. It's getting scary. Yeah, I don't love it. I also don't know what the solution is to those sorts of things. I think what keeps happening is, and in so many spaces, digital, it just happens rapidly, is you get a company that builds good reputation and grows and grows and grows, and they're nice and big, which means they're stable and their product is really good, and they keep growing, and then they start, instead of being good product producers, they become bullies, loosely speaking, and they buy other companies and they monopolize, and then they stop really trying to innovate and instead trying to manipulate. And it's that manipulation phase that's super scary, and unfortunately it can last for years and years and years. And then what happens is, while people are either blind or willing to accept that level of market manipulation and stuff for a while, there are hopefully people that try and subvert sections of the market they've taken over. Unfortunately, that's never good enough, and we're in modern late stage capitalist times where things are just wild out there. But I'm not an economist, I'm not a policymaker, I'm not a politician, I'm just some guy on the internet writing some code. So everyone take all of my ideas with a grain of salt here. Once they're big enough, they'll just buy stuff in since they already have enough of it. Preach it. I do want to be careful. I have opinions, and I'm willing to share what I think, because I think people should speak up about what they think. But I think people should also be careful not to be presenting opinion as if they're solid fact, per se. And if you're not an expert in any given field, it's probably better to be cautious versus being a loudmouth, if that makes sense. So I'll share my thoughts, but take it or leave it, I guess, is what I'm getting at here. I'm here to write some code and talk with people and have a good time. I'm not here to ruin anyone's day or anything like that. Progress is never made by a silent society. See, and that is absolutely true. I'm not advocating for silence. I'm advocating for pragmatic communication, if that makes sense. There are some things I will confidently talk about. Like I'll talk about 3D CAD, I'll talk about design, I'll talk about manufacturing, mechanical engineering stuff. I can talk quite confidently about those things because I've learned a lot about it. I've done a lot of trial and error. I've made mistakes in that category. When it comes to things like policy, the best I can do is hypothesize, right? And that's where things like it's way better to say this is only what I'm thinking as opposed to say this is how I know it will work, right? Very different things. Wait, do you mean people should be level-headed and have logical discussions? What fantasy world are you living in, good sir? I'm living my best life over here, just hoping for the best, you know? We take it one step at a time, all right? I I think one of my tiny little contributions can be modeling the behavior that I think is beneficial in general. You know, being I'm not trying to set myself up as some great role model, but like, hey, look, I'm comfortable doing this, this, and this. This is how I think about some things. Boom, it's helpful. Take it or leave it, I guess. I don't know what I'm talking about. What I do know is this stuff is coming along quite well. I have to now fix... Okay, see this here? I thought this quote would work, but I guess... Oh, that's weird. It does... Gotta think about that for a second. Things seem just a little bit off here. Couldn't resolve... Oh, that's strange. So I have to touch the state because it's invalid, and then it re-evals it. I wonder... I don't like it. That's confusing. But for now, let's assume it's fine. I could make a function that kind of touches everything else, I suppose, and go from there. Okay, so we're getting closer, and then we're getting this. So the next thing I want to solve... Well, let's... Okay, here's what I want to solve. I know that the namespace cleaning process cuts off any code, any valid code that you've put in that same block. So I have to fix that. That's actually a pretty big problem. A user could easily define some utility functions in their namespace section, and I just elide it completely. That's no bueno. In fact, it's quite bad. It's ridiculously bad. I'm keeping this comment in here. I really like it. Meditating with parens. Totally very helpful. Okay, so what I think I need to do, I need to redef C here. So if I now do def C as the second result from get nodes from org/zip org/parse radish logo.org. I think this is valid. And I want to get nodes, that match ns. I did it wrong. Let me do this. Let me not try to one-line it. Get nodes org/zip org/parse radish logo.org. And the matcher. Okay. I must have just typoed something. Second from the last result there. Yeah, so this is an example namespace that has some code in it that's still valid. I can clean the namespace, but I also need to not delete the other code. Otherwise, what am I even doing here? That's crazy talk. Let's def C to be this test thing. So now, if I do clean namespace declarations of C, we see the problem. Attributes closure, yeah, that's all fine. We need this to contain this string for sure. So in order to do that, I have to rethink things ever so slightly. I actually don't think it'll be that big of an issue though. I think what I want to do is, here, this here, ns declaration, this is the point at which this gets chopped off, I'm pretty sure. So let me comment this out and just do ns declaration like this. See, I don't know if this is always the best way to write out code, but using a big let and having a bunch of kind of independent transforms in somewhat logical steps can be really helpful for kind of testing your process along the way. You can just make the function output different portions of the let, and then you can kind of bundle it all together in a nice function once you know it works. It works decently well. It just might be hard to follow sometimes if I'm in the middle of building a function like this. All right, but anyway, if I do this, right, we can see that I pull from the node the content and I apply string. So at this point, if I were to emit that as an why did that go wrong? Oh, I know. So it is trying to run the rest of the let, so that's not going to work. Of course. So I was just saying how useful it is to have a bunch of lets, and here I am needing to comment them out. Still works okay, it's just a little not perfect. But I'm not perfect, I'm just some dude. Okay, there we go. So here, right, we can see that I get the full string, including the valid code beneath the namespace declaration. What's happening is when you do run the function read string on a string that contains multiple forms, like I'm about to do, it just takes the first full expression. So to cheese it, what I can do is what I've done here. If I apply string and then wrap that apply string in a vector before I read string, now if I do this, I get a different result. And that result is invalid, apparently. Now what have I done? I'm getting ahead of myself, I guess. Wait, what? How did that happen? Oh. Yes. I'm duplicating read string calls because I'm trying to move too quickly. My bad, sorry everyone. Okay, so now if I run this, since I applied a string to the thing that I know has multiple S expressions in it, if I pop all of those S expressions into a vector, read string will read it all because it's reading only a single vector and can thus get everything for you. So now all I need to do is make sure that the logic I've used everywhere else just keeps the other forms tacked on at the end without disrupting it. And I think that's manageable. I just have to see how that'll go. I will have to change things a little bit, unfortunately. Oh, wait a second. I know. I think this could be the thing that works. If I do source, if I add one more chunk to this, like this. Okay. Now, all I need to do here is to get the namespace declaration from the full source, which is already guaranteed to be a vector of forms that have been read. So they're like, you could eval them. They're not strings, they're actual forms. I want to keep that the same, and I want to gotta fix my posture a little bit. I end up hunching like this when I'm thinking at a desk for a long period of time. It's not good. I think I might need to get a standing desk. I've mentioned that a few times. I think Mike has mentioned it on my behalf a few times as well. All right, so here I want to get, here I can filter this. Like, I think I can use this same filter. I'm not explaining myself very well at the moment, and that's because I don't know how to explain it right now. I can explain it once I get it working. Okay, so if I get from there that and that, let's try that. Got some recommendations if you're looking for one. There are also just some legs that can adjust so you can bolt a desktop onto. I like that second option, honestly, just because I don't, well, how do I say it? It's so much easier for me to move around when I don't have tons of big bulky furniture, and if I can either just make my own cheap desks with whatever top I can find, or easily take the legs off, that's usually easier to move around. So I kind of like that idea better. See, I don't have access to a good shop either, so I can't do the thing I want to do, which is build all this stuff. I mean, technically I don't really have a ton of time to do it anyway. I just don't, there's a part of me that, like, looking at anything I could buy, there's a lot of times where it's like, oh, I know exactly how I could build that, and it just bothers me that I can't. But anyway, now I'm complaining too much. Okay, so I've successfully done all of that. So here, right, now we've got the kind of weirdness. How's that for an explanation? Oh man, I'm having a day. Okay, so xf ns decal. That's that, and then right. This is starting to get a little confusing. I think I'll need to document this and clean it up. Later on, but I also think there's probably a much more clean way to manipulate the sources, but that's okay. Something that works is the first step to getting something that works really well and cleanly. But we can go from where we're at. Am I even saying like real sentences anymore? Here, if I do take while, and then count. Now let me just check that this index count works. comment these out again just to be safe. This is not valid yet. Okay. 1. Out. This here should be count and then decrement by 1. That should work. Okay. So let's try that again. It should be 0 because it's the first element in the vector. The reason I need that index is so that I can associate things back into that and then take things from there. All right. Okay, so the transformed content namespace. Wait a second. Can't I just call it that? Sure. That's maybe a little easier to read. So this fully transformed namespace is what I was emitting before. The only difference here, the only extra stuff I'm adding is I have that namespace and I'm just wrapping that in a vector containing the original code. I'm just popping the original namespace declaration out of the list and swapping it with, well, I'm associating in the modified, the cleaned up namespace, and then everything else is identical, and then I just spit that out with as a string again. That's the whole thing. So that's un momento, por favor. Right, so I'm losing the plot here a little bit. Let's fix this xf-content. So before I turn any of this stuff into a string at all, I think this should work. Yeah. Apply list to assoc into source. Oh, I should call this. Right, associate into the source list, into the position where you found the namespace declaration, which will be ns declaration index. Associate into that position the transformed namespace declaration. Now, transformed source string just has the same logic applied to transform source. And now here we are with transformed content, takes transform source string, does these replaces for come on. And we get that content there. Will this work? 'Tis the question. Let's see what happens when I do. Come on. Did my brain work? Kinda. Mostly. Yeah. It's reasonably effective. One last thing I'll do is here I can do, nope, wrong spot. So there's no new lines between these here. What I want to do is interpose new line characters between those strings. So I can do that actually pretty easily. If I do interpose, interpose dash n, backslash n, I mean, into, oh shoot. Interpose, this has to be like this, thread last, interpose n, then finally apply vec to that. Let's see if that, okay, there, it does add a new line, which is helpful. The namespace isn't declared perfectly, but I'm gonna be okay with that. There's one issue. It's doubly it's wrapped one too many times, so I have to fix that. Wait a second. Why is that? That must be because. Well, why? That's definitely coming from if I look at transform source, yeah, okay, it's coming from this, the transform source list itself is being nested in there. So I want it to not be that way. Very close to a solution. It's almost there. I can feel it. Okay, weird idea. See if I can make this work. Oh yeah, that turns it into a whole sequence. Don't want that. Hey C Films, how's your progress on the CAD? Well, CAD specifically is arguably paused for the week, but it's what I'm working on today is related because I'm working on a bit of a web export tool that lets you do CAD drawings in the browser if you want to. So for example here, you can see live manipulation of these. It's not perfect, but it's a step in the right direction, and it's part of the CAD documentation pipeline that I'm working on, if that makes any sense. So that's pretty exciting for me anyway. Let's see here. Oh yeah, that's right, that's what that was for. Lavender background, blue. It's hideously ugly. You got stuck on McFly? Oh yeah? You just taking a break from it and gonna tackle it again later? Getting stuck is part of the process, you know? Things don't always go smoothly. But hopefully you can think your way out of any issues and get there eventually. I'm quite confident that you'll be able to do that. Okay, this is so close to what I want, but I'm just not quite where I want it to be. And I'm just trying to think how I should fix it. Well, first of all, I know I can do this to fix the open bracket issue, but the dangling bracket at the very end, hope I don't need a tissue for your issue. No, you just need some time to think, and maybe a nice stiff drink and some time to think. if we're talking in rhyme. Oh my goodness. I don't actually find that drinking alcohol helps me think all that much. It usually helps me do the opposite. Oh, this is close. This is close. All right, let's try that and see what's going on here. Oops, not what I meant to do. Oh, that also didn't solve the problem. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong thing. What have I done wrong? 1 second here. Why are there not new line characters already? What have I missed now? Never had alcohol? Yeah, you don't drink? I think that's is it like a choice that you've made you don't want to? I think that can be a nice choice. I think it's okay. People got to pay attention to it, that kind of thing. I think that's true of a lot of substances and drugs, but there's a lot of risk with a lot of them. So I understand anyone not wanting to, or just generally being wary of that kind of stuff. It makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. So on McFly, you're having trouble running more than one operator or command per line. Yeah. Yeah, so you need some way to parse lines into independent commands if it's on a single line, I guess, right? I'm assuming in part because you're using the new line, like each line as the separator for commands and stuff like that, right? Additionally, I wonder, can you nest commands within a single line, or is it singular commands only? It sounds like a fun and hard challenge to come up with solutions for. But you might need to start parsing a full AST, right? To be able to handle that sort of stuff. I don't know for sure if that's what it is. I'm just kind of thinking off the top of my head. Alcohol is an acquired taste, I would say. That's why companies are making soda like alcohol, so they can get people who don't like the taste of hops and such. See films, I choose not to drink alcohol. Yeah, nothing wrong with that choice. You know, it can be... I mean, it's definitely a healthy choice, right? You don't... your liver doesn't have any hard work to do, aside from the normal hard work it does already. So that's a good thing. Mike, and I never thought about the fact that soda and at pop, as we call it here, pap, like in Michigan, pop and soft drinks like that, share that as well. Choose not to drink, Ben. Yeah. And never smoked. See films. Yeah. All good choices. I I I have done those things, and I am choosing to do them much less. It's never been a like a real problem, but it's a you know what, it's like not worth any health long term health problems and all that good stuff. Plus, I feel really good when I don't. So why would I put myself through unnecessary unwellness craziness, right? Anyway, but yeah, Mike, I never thought that the pop companies and stuff like do it almost intentionally to kind of get people used to the sensation of that fizziness and stuff. It's a wild world out there, everyone. Um, okay, well, I'm going to do a super lazy thing for a minute and do this. I'm going to match this NS and just turn it into that. And then here, I'm going to match this with that just in case. That should solve that particular problem. McFly only runs the first command or operator listed in a line. Right. Yeah. So you're doing right now. You've got a line by line. It assumes a single line is a valid single command. So now you have to come up with a strategy for allowing multiple commands and nested commands. That's going to be a fun challenge for you. I am sure that there are ways you can do it. There are many tutorials about how to make parsers and build your own Lisps and all that stuff. I'm sure there's plenty of useful resources for you there. Oh yeah, why limit yourself to the market of people who don't like the taste of beer? Make White Claw and other hard seltzers so people can drink and enjoy the taste while doing it. Very predatory, I think, but I don't make the rules. You know, I I think you're right. The word predatory is not how I would describe it, but actually, well, it's not how I would have thought to describe it, but I am agreeing with you completely. It is it's not great. And in general, it is a strange cultural thing that we're so okay with like alcohol consumption and like a lot of it. Like a lot. It's bizarre to me, I guess. I don't know that regulation like hey, it's illegal to drink X amount and all that is like a solution. But yeah, the predatory behavior isn't healthy and all that kind of stuff. Might as well take a look at Make a Lisp. Yeah, that's Ben. That was exactly the one I had in my head for C Films. I'm not sure. I wonder if C Films is working off of tutorials and stuff like that, or kind of going on their own pace. There it is. Yeah, C Films. Even if you're not making a Lisp, this resource here is a really cool resource for I mean all kinds of things, eval, environment, like it's just fantastically done. So it'd be worth giving it a read, I think, even if you don't end up using it specifically. Don't drink soda either. You do drink water, right? C Films. You stay hydrated, I hope. Okay, this silly little thing is close to what I need it to be, and I'm starting to put the hacks in place because I can't be bothered to think of the true solution at the moment. I'm not sure that I like that as an attitude, but that's where I'm going to start for now. I'm also going to do something absolutely ridiculous, which is drop last and then apply string. And I don't know if this will break things or not. Let's find out. It didn't work. C doesn't drink anything. Purely self-sustaining person. C gains energy through photosynthesis, right? Have you ever read Dune? The sci-fi Dune? What are they called? The Fremen? They have these like, oh, I forget what they call them. Still suits, I think. It's like a desert dwelling people, and they're so like water's so scarce that they built these super efficient suits that like reuptakes all of the liquids that get expelled from the body. That's C films. Just hyper efficient. Started McFly with an online tutorial, but you moved beyond it and gone in your own direction. Yeah, nice. That's a fun way to do it. Start with some tutorials and then kind of like shoot off on tangents and see what you can do on your own. Explore different ideas. It's a really fun way to do it. Sounds like things are going pretty well for you. I like that. Okay. All I need to do is fix this. I'm spending way more time on this than I thought, but that's honestly just because I'm not working too hard today. But I'm okay with that, honestly. How come? So this is a character thing. How do I turn that back again into? Well, that's not it. Is it apply string to vec of that? Wait. Did that even solve the problem? No, it didn't. All right, what am I doing? What am I doing? Is there a string slash replace last? No. What happens if I do this? I am being ridiculous. Okay, let's approach this in a slightly better fashion. First of all, let's do this. Oh, I see. I would have to drop last twice to get rid of that new line character. This is not the right way to do this. Let's think about this and try to get things properly organized there. You can also use strip. How does that work again? Is it? That's not. So I'm trying to be lazy, which is the real issue. So instead of doing that, what I want to do is the right thing. Okay, so string replace, split lines, interpose that, and vec that. Okay, so here we are. We've got the implementation nearly done. The only issues are this opening and this closing paren here. So I want to drop the first paren and I want to drop the last one. It gets rid of all white space characters in the end. Oh, yeah. That is the same as trim, right? Yes, trim would do it. Trim, yep. I mean, that would definitely do it. Okay, well, let's get back to being lazy for a second. No. I'm not going to do that. Instead, what I'm going to do is try and figure out how I can unwrap this by this list. I'm going to unwrap it once. Okay. So the reason I'm getting it is because I'm pretty sure transform source I don't want. Yeah, see, I need to. I need to do. I need this to be apply string to map. I think this will work. Okay, so what I've done here is now I've mapped without string pretty print. So it's going to pretty print each of the forms independently. So I get a list of strings, and then I apply string to turn it into one string. Let's see if that works. That's not what I expected to see. It's almost correct, but it is wrong. And it's wrong because I formatted this wrong. Let's try that again. There we go. Boom. Hello. Solving problems the right way is better than doing it the wrong way. In Python, it's called strip. Oh, okay. Yeah. So it looks like it's strip in Java as well. Java lang string dot strip. So I think it works like this. Yeah. Yeah, same idea. Hey, DigitalOcean TV. Not sure if you're tuned in and watching it all, but thanks for the follow. That's really cool. Oh, McFly GitHub. Thanks for sharing that. I got it opened on a separate tab there. Looks like you're making good progress. Every couple of days, yeah? Very nice. Cool stuff. All right. Hey, DigitalOcean TV. Of course. Well, I gotta say, I don't know I don't know who ends up hearing this, but DigitalOcean TV following me is pretty cool. I at one point I had a VPS from DigitalOcean, and I was using my iPad with Blink Shell to do some remote dev with that, and the written tutorials available on DigitalOcean's blog or whatever it's called were outstanding. So just amazing stuff. It's exciting to see DigitalOcean showing up in my in my chat. Fantastic. So great to hear. Yeah, I honestly, it's just thoroughly impressed is really what I say. Thanks for the love. Of course, of course. Well-written stuff. I love it. Did the same. Yeah. You've used DigitalOcean VPS stuff before. I still have, like, I have my iPad right now. I'm using it for the chat and everything like that. But I still, at the moment, I'm for those times where I don't have an internet connection, I'm using a Raspberry Pi with USB-C as my remote dev environment for when I don't have an internet connection. But using a VPS is a really smooth thing, and getting it all set up, easy breezy. It's a really neat way to get around with the iPad alone rather than carrying a 16-inch. Yeah, like a full-on laptop. The iPad is so great for that kind of stuff. I will say, like, I do wish I could run Linux on it, kind of thing, you know, just have it totally open for my own stuff. But beggars can't be choosers, I guess, is the name of the game there. All right, let's see if this is finally fixed up the way I want. As Mike says, ship it. Okay, this looks promising because it's got all of the code locked in there. Okay, so let's save that, and I'm going to run the compilation and see what shows up when I open the web browser with the changes. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's exciting. All right, so let's do an advanced... let's do an advanced build of slurp radish logo.org. Give that a second. How's everyone doing, by the way? I'm not sure I've actually asked that. I hope everyone's doing well, both in work and with your code projects or whatever, and just in life in general. Doing as well as you can, staying healthy, all that good stuff. So I want to show the part I'm least happy with about this process so far. If I go to the advanced build spot here, I've got a bunch of utility functions and all of that, and some things that generate config files, and that's all working really nicely. But the actual advanced build here shells out and makes a few directories, which is fine. But then the thing I don't know how to solve yet is in run the build here. Right now, all I'm doing is shelling out to another Clojure process and running Shadow-cljs in a nested directory. I don't want to have to shell out. What I want is to be able to call Shadow DevTools from within the project directly. The only problem is I don't yet know how to control the directory that the build process looks at. I imagine there's a way to do it. I just haven't figured it out yet. So that's a minor frustration of mine. Okay, so here's an output. Oh, we've got some weird spacing issues, but we've got an otherwise valid namespace. That's okay. Let's see here. Could not resolve SVG. I keep forgetting that this needs to be commented out. Working-ish. Working. Tempted to call. Yes, and this has to be commented out as well. So with those manual changes out of the way, all of those are, it makes sense that that would break things because this function here, SVG, exclamation point, is only, it only makes sense in the context of running it in Emacs in my org file. Because what it does is save your SVG data to a file on your disk and then displays it inside the org file. In a browser context, you can't / don't need to do that. So the function becomes useless. So what I need to build into this is some sort of function blacklist or something along those lines where it will either elide those functions or just comment them out so that they're still visible for document readability, but they're very clearly meant to be, this is used in the Clojure context, not in the browser context. All these errors are Skittle related things, and I'll get there later. So for example, the reason this is invalid in a browser context is right here. You can see the function spit is a Clojure IO type thing. Like spit will put a string into a file on your disk, and you can't do that in a web Clojurescript environment. There's no concept of the file system, and if there is, it's certainly not the same as your disk file system. But blah blah blah. Point is, I have the code valid in here now, which is what I want to see. Things are looking really good there. Oh, hey, DigitalOcean, I see some private messages. I'm not going to read them on stream here. I just am acknowledging that I've seen them, and I will look at them later. I hope that's okay. How long has I been going here? Let's see here. Ba-ba-ba. Do 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 do. Okay. Actually, so I'm reading this DigitalOcean private message stuff. You know what? I have responses, and they're good responses for the DigitalOcean TV account. I'm gonna handle that after my stream, though. So, I gotta maintain some level of focus. All right, all right. So here we are, in a nearly working state of things. Now, what should I do next? Sponsorship? Oh, none of that. It's not like that. It's I'm not going to complain if those things start to happen, though. I'll tell you that much. I'm not asking for sponsorship. I'm not asking for not putting any pressure on things. I'm just, I'm here living my best life, streaming, having a good time. And I'm just really happy when people tune in and notice, It's very exciting. All right, so this is a ridiculous looking namespace. Forgot to pay your instance. Forgot to pay your instance that I kept running. No. I'm sure they've got automated things to check when you've stopped paying, and will just shut down your stuff. No, I don't have an active droplet at the moment, but I've been thinking about how I want to start one up again soon, for various ideas I've got going on, but that's neither here nor there. Okay. Let me see. I don't know. I've got there's some formatting weirdness going on with the namespace stuff here, so let me try to fix that for a second. Oh, I need to def C with the first one again. Dang, I overwrote a var, but let's do it again anyway, because why not? Actually, let me do, yeah, C will be first get nodes of org/zip org/parse radish logo.org. Seriously? I did it wrong again. Oh yes. I know what I'm missing. Get nodes. I need to actually do match ns. There we go. Now let's def D is the second, which I happen to know. Okay, so there we go. We've got a bunch of incorrect new lines here, which, how do I want to handle that? Well, I think the easiest thing is to not interpose them, and then I'll sort it out later. AKA do it the lazy way. Whoops. Yeah, that'll be okay. Again, get it functional, get it beautiful. 1, 2. Don't have to do them simultaneously. That's how I'm justifying it today. Okay, so that was in utils. Yeah, I'll just get rid of this interpose for now. Zoop. Okay, so now, instead of rebuilding the project right now, I'm gonna just hack around in radish logo / index directly a little bit. So this index file here is the index file that is this page right now. So I'm just editing some of that directly for So for this, for example, just to make it look a little better, I'm gonna just manually do the edit here. Oops. Oh, also, let me just double check this. Yeah, see, that ends up looking a little nicer there. But if I do D, it's not bad. Should be fine. That'll be okay. It's still readable. The eventual goal is to have the formatting match the user's formatting so that there's no surprises on the export side. But again, starting just with the functionality that I want, making sure things work the way I expect is the most important thing at the moment. Okay, so we've got this pre. Oh, geez, this is horrible looking. But let's just refresh this. Oh, I broke it too. Great. What have I done? There you go. All it takes is one missing paren. So one thing that's, see, this is starting to come along really nicely. Oh, I'm gonna check one thing here. I'm gonna comment out the snippet. So I'm gonna simulate. So this SVG function, I'm gonna excuse me. I'm gonna hard code the comment out thing, assuming that the main build process correctly comments out blacklisted functions like that. I'm just curious if it will actually allow the full build without me having to touch the sources at all, and it doesn't quite look like it. Okay, so that's nil correctly. So here, this is still the problem I need to figure out. As soon as I make a change, it evals the whole source and it works. So there's something not going right with the initial eval, and I need to fix that. So I have that script here, so I'm gonna just play with it for a minute here. So I'm pretty sure that this is not well formatted code right now, but well. Oh, is everything? Just checking that things are working here. Yeah, we're good. We good. All right. Okay, I think what's going on here is when I first render, for the very first time when I run the source, I'm actually running without the namespace declaration, which is not what I need. So let's fix that. And that happens in well, actually, I should do it up here like this. I should transform the source string at the start like this. Source parent. If it contains it, then you do this. Ooh, this is hard to follow. Ignore the formatting. I'm gonna fix it later. transform source string is equal to that, and then the state gets made after, like this, with xf source string. I think that's worth a try. Yes, that is okay. That fixed that. So if I scroll to the bottom, it should almost all work. Yeah, except for this, of course. Yeah, so that is how I can fix that. Good to know. I am going to head to the washroom for a second. I will be right back, and then I'll think about how I want to incorporate that idea properly into how it all looks. Un momento. There we go. I really have to remember to make a new be right back animation because that is getting glitchy. That'll be fine for another day. All right. So, I am very close to figuring out how to do all this sort of stuff in a way that I'm happy with. Let me incorporate that little test change back into this code runner source here. That ends up being right here. So state, gonna define that at the bottom of the let. Whoa, not what I meant to do at all. There we go. Like this. And I'm gonna use transform source string. And what that is here, xf source string, which is just this snippet here. Oop, nope. Yeah, please. There we go. Just appending the namespace declaration to the front or to the top of the source string, so that gets eval'd the first time, and then everything looks the same. The only oh yeah, this here actually, no, that won't work. I'm just thinking of how I can make it implicitly. So if I do, so here, what I'm thinking is if I were to run it this way, that won't quite work. Let me wait a second. Where am I? This is what I'm trying to look. Wait. I've confused myself. What? Sorry, I've just lost the plot for a minute. Yeah, so am I editing the right file? Who knows these days? Who knows? Let's close this. Ooh. Don't like a modified buffer that I don't remember modifying, but oh well. Better to save it and figure it out. Shadow-cljs, we can close that. Index.html. I don't know. I'm going to close this. Try to make sure I'm in the right spots here. svg-clj. Forgot that I had that REPL running, but hey, it's not a big deal. All right, here we are. Okay, let's do this. Keep the REPL at the bottom here. Up here, let's open up radish logo index.html, and here we can mess around with this script and go from there. So I need to edit this. Instead of running this, I'm just gonna populate it with source string like that. So what I expect to see is these source blocks to no longer have those at the top when I refresh this. That did happen, and it also broke other things. So let's see why that would be the case. Because oh, there we go. Okay. So here's the thing. I put into the state and evaluated the source with the namespace declaration at the top, but I populated the editor with the source without that at the top. So what I think is, because I haven't incorporated that, I haven't implicitly used the in namespace in the state eval, I think this will break when I make a change here. I think this will complain. It'll say no, could not find utils vstar. Yeah, so that's exactly what happened. So this solution looks like it'll work, but then it won't, because the state doesn't match what's actually in here. So I would have to come up with a way to, I don't know. I either have to be okay with the in namespace just being there at the top every time, which isn't bad because it's explicit rather than implicit. It's not confusing. Like you can see what's happening, but it's a little ugly is all. That's the only thing I don't like. So I've learned that instead of source string, I have to put transform source string. I also wonder if I double new line it, if that'll look a little better. I don't think it'll look much better, but there it is. Yeah, see, and now it doesn't break because it's incorporating this namespace thing in the re-eval, so that isn't a problem. What I could do is, instead of the state, I would have to rework things a little bit, but instead of the state atom being literally just the source string, I could make it a map. I could do the in namespace and the source itself. then I can always, when I re-eval, I just merge them together, eval the whole block, and then I always um, reinsert just the render. That's the word I was looking for. Just the source without the in namespace. Maybe that works. Feels like it could be what I want. Not entirely sure yet. But let me make sure I include the proper... Okay, so I do like the double new lines there. Just because I think that's useful. And state holds that. That's good. And then I need to do xf source string like that. I could... See, what I need to do is not necessarily... see here, if I were to, I can change this reset state here a little bit. What I can do is per editor, is everything going okay? Oops. I'm just, if there are people chatting but I'm not responding, I will apologize right now because I might be missing some messages. I'm just refreshing the chat to make sure things are okay. Not sure if there's any issues, but if there are, and you said stuff and I totally ignored it, apologies. But things are looking fine on my end now, so I think it's okay. Right, so here... Don't think there's been any messages. If there have been, I haven't seen them either. Okay, I was just... yeah, no worries, was all good. Okay, thanks for letting me know. I think my screen refreshed or it did a repaint or something like that, or the chat itself reconnected, and I freaked out for a second. But if everything's good, then everything's good. Right. So basically what I would prefer is this here, putting these lines in works exactly correctly. It puts everything in the correct namespace and evals that the whole block with the right, in the right context. I just don't totally love how it looks. But is it that big a deal? I'm going to say, at least for right now, I'm going to be okay with this as a solution because it's really not that bad. It does make it explicit and it does let the user mess with it if they want to. I don't know really why they would want to, but I digress. They can if they feel so inclined. The only thing that's not perfect about it is it will, even in a namespace declaration here, it will pop it in there, and it will also do it for it will also do that in the basic export now, which, by the way, I should probably... So I've got Radish basic. Let's do bb run main I Radish basic. So this, unless I broke stuff without realizing it, this should do a basic build, which does not compile any Clojurescript into JavaScript. It just does a very simple index.html generation and copies resource files into that same folder. a much quicker export that is useful for very simple blog posts with no dependencies. That's the whole point of the basic build. And the CLI currently only runs basic builds, which I should change. Maybe I'll do that before pressing the wrong buttons. Unless I broke something without knowing it. Well, luckily this is just a site exporter. It's not like I'm launching anything to Mars or anything like that. So, you know, the failure cost is relatively low. But yes, absolutely. Unless I broke something is engineers, eh? Right. So let's open Radish basic example / index.html. This should all work as well. And you can see here when there's no stated namespace. Oh no, it broke. I know why. I know how I can fix this very easily. It's just a matter of seeding it with the correct generic namespace, which actually I don't technically need it, but I'll include it for posterity. If contains namespace, you extract the namespace and do blah 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 blah. Otherwise you do current namespace, and the current namespace here, I want it to look like this. I think this will fix it. What was that recent query dropping all data from the database? There's an XKCD comic, Bobby Tables. One of my favorites. XKCD, man, Little Bobby Tables. Oh, this is explain XKCD. I just want to see the original, please. Oh, it was the first. I don't know why I didn't. Why am I not going to the original site? What is my problem? There we go. Did you really name your son Robert Drop Table Students? Oh yes, Little Bobby Tables. So good. XKCD, folks, always fantastic. The author's name, Randall Munroe. As far as I know, really intelligent, really cool dude. I've got one of his books, What If? Hilarious, awesome, good stuff. But I doubt that XKCD is totally new to everyone watching. Very good in general. I haven't been to the site in quite a while, but good art style too. Really like engineering line art, but it ends up looking really nice. He also has alt text as a secondary joke all the time. Anyway, good stuff. All right, so success. Have a nice day. Let me open this again. I broke it again. I love it. Love to see it. Okay. I'm getting a little sloppy, which means it's almost time for me to end the stream. I think I'll fix this up and I'll leave a few notes for myself as to what I want to start doing next. And then I can push these changes to GitHub and call it a day soon. Gotta say, this was a fun stream. I've had a good time, good chats, reasonable productivity, getting good output, making actual progress, which is nice. Everything's going nicely today. It's a good feeling. Okay, so this clearly wasn't the way to go. Actually, let me see. Let me inspect this and see what errors it's giving me. Could not resolve. Did I do something wrong? May have done something wrong. Okay, this is long shot. Not sure if that's gonna do it. Let's just make the change in the output right away just to speed that along. I don't think that's the solution. It is not. Oh, yes it is. Apparently. Literally been reading some research papers while listening. Such a good co-working opportunity. Hey, well, I'm really glad to be part of that for you. I do like that. So I get in a mood sometimes where I do want to work, but I don't want to listen to music. I don't want to listen to like podcasts. I don't want to listen in silence. And I just feel like I kind of want company, like that coffee shop sort of background noise kind of thing. Cafe, I should say, not coffee shop, not like in Amsterdam coffee shops where everyone's smoking. Like a cafe. And Twitch streams can sometimes be that exact niche that I'm looking for. So I'm glad to participate in that way. Right, so I guess that does work, which is a minor surprise to me. I will admit, but I'll take it. I'm not going to complain about it. Just to double check, sanity check that, let me run the basic build one more time. Okay, I'm going to run the basic build one more time, double check that that's working. Then I'm going to add into the CLI a little flag that I can run the advanced build from the terminal. And the reason I eventually want to be able to incorporate everything running in a single JVM instance instead of shelling out to another JVM instance. One, for I think efficiency reasons, and two, so that I can potentially make a GraalVM native image out of this project. But I don't know how that's going to go because it does need to pull in the Shadow-cljs compiler, which might not work in the native build. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I don't need to worry about that yet. Have to run and get ready for dinner. Bye. Hey, thanks for tuning in, Mike. I appreciate it. Have a good dinner. Have a good day. I should be back. It's Thursday, right? Yeah, I think I should be back Friday. And I mean, from that point on, I've got a few things going on. Got some weddings to celebrate and this and that. A holiday on Monday. So I'll have to explain my schedule a little bit tomorrow, but I digress. Have a good one, Mike. I'll see you around. Ben, I really enjoy watching how you're tackling CLJ. Helps me in my understanding if I do some CLJ coding exercises to learn about the parens. It's a win times 2. I really like watching how you're tackling. Oh, gotcha. Yep. Well, like I say, I'm just here having a good time, and I'm glad that people find it helpful / enjoyable. It's encouraging. All right, so did I do the build? I think I did. This should work. Yes, it does. Yeah, so it's all still working. No, it's not. Why did that happen? Oops. Oh, okay. So there is one slight problem. What namespace is the default? It's just user. Oh shoot, now I have to maybe reconsider a thing or two here. Let me try. I need to see if this fixes that problem. Okay, so I'm in namespace user. Yeah, okay. Okay. That'll work. It's not perfect. All right, so that's good there. Let me add in what's a good, let's do something like this. We'll go -b or build, and it's gonna take I don't know if this will work. I basic or advanced. No, wait. I kind of want to. I wonder. This is the first thought. It's maybe not the best way to do it. It's maybe not the best user design, but I'm gonna try it just for the sake of simplicity here. So what I want to do is build an additional check into the let here. And what I want to do is, if I were to do well, I can make a little defin requires advanced like this. And what I can pass in here is where's the basic build org string? Oh, yes. Okay, so here what I can do is I can have a little if here. If requires advanced org string. If that's true, you run the advanced build. And actually, so if that's true, you do first print line detected detected external dependencies running advanced build like that. Otherwise, wrap this in a do as well. Print line. Oh, why did I capitalize that? That's weird. Print line. No external dependencies. Detected running basic build. And eventually what I want to do, and I'm not going to worry about it right now, obviously, is I want to add options into this. I want to be able to have a configuration, like an options map as a pass-in option, for example, where people could define the title, define the author, probably define a follow me, like a footer links section, so they could put their own Twitter handle in there, that kind of thing. Either that or put it in, well, I'll figure that out somehow. Options like that I want to be able to pass in as a map. I also want users to be able to force advanced or force basic regardless of what is detected. And I want to have, for the advanced, I want to build project only, like emit project directory versus compile, so that the user can use that as a basis to modify the project to their own needs. And additionally, I probably want a custom CSS input option, something like that. Although, arguably, my output of the project it's literally just a directory with the JS and CSS and the index. A user could use this tool, get that base, and then ingest it into their own processing if they want. So it's not like I want to give a few good default options, but let it be flexible enough that a user could just use it as a starting point for their own workflow. I feel like that's a pretty good design trade-off without me going way overboard with configurability. That's my justification. I think that makes some sense. Okay, so the only thing here is now I need to do requires advanced. So org string. What I want to do here is let org be org/parse string org string. So one thing that's not efficient is there are many places where I'm actually parsing the org string a bunch.
Sorry, I'm still not sure about that.
Oh, stop. Don't know why that was listening to me. I will need to restructure some of the utility functions. I think instead of passing a string every time, I should pass the parsed org tree so that the parsing only happens one time. It's quick, but it doesn't need to happen literally on every function call. So that'll be a design improvement, but that shouldn't be too hard to do either. Okay. So that's the org file. Let me check if I do get nodes of orgzip org/parse radish basic.org. If I orgzip that and I do match deps, this should be empty. But if I do it with radish logo, it should not be empty. Yeah, so that is how I'm gonna do let me just double check. Empty. True. And empty. False. Good. Okay. So it's just going to be not empty. Yeah. Maybe a little weird to do it that way, but get nodes org/zip org. Match deps question mark. Okay. So let me see if that will work the way I expect. So if I do run I radish basic, it should detect a basic, print that it's done basic, and work. By the way, this deprecated thing. This is annoying. I think I'm gonna fork the org parsing library, make my own, or make a pull request to just fix this, because this is a super easy fix. You just change the deps. No external dependencies detected. Running basic build. Very nice. And now, final little thing before the end of the day. Logo.org. It should say detected externals running advanced build. Yeah. Oh, the order of prints is a little bit weird. Plus I can make this look a lot nicer, but again, getting the functions and then making it look nice. That's the order of things. Okay. I am really happy with the progress today. I'm going to wait for this to build, and then I'm going to open the basic, open the advanced, just to see that things are actually working more or less the way I expect. and then I can go from there another day. I am happy, happy, happy. All right. Now we go. Since I know these are in the same spot, I'm just going to refresh this. Quote user. Yeah. All looking good. Fantastic. And then that's the basic one. Here's the logo one. Depths elided. Yep. This, again, I still have to do the function blacklisting, but I will get to that at some point. And here. Yes. Okay. That is really good. I'm super happy with how this is going. Oh, this doesn't even look that... I mean, it's a little weird looking. It's not that bad, though. I mean, it's okay. I could probably use something like CLJ Condo to... If not that, or I wonder if there's like either like a linter as a library that I could use to just spruce up the... Instead of manually trying to add weird new line characters and stuff myself, I wonder if I could run that as a final process. That'll be a problem for another day. Okay. Yeah, I am extremely happy with how this has been going. I think I'm going to be able to clean this up ever so slightly and then actually make this another example output that I can put into the README. So, huge step in the right direction. I'm very keen to keep working on this. Right, so that's going to be all for me for the day, though. I should be back tomorrow, and then I've got a modified schedule for the next, well, probably all of August is going to be a little bit full for me. Nevertheless, yeah, I don't have anything more to say. Just really happy with the progress today, and glad people have been tuned in. I always appreciate that. If there's anyone wondering if they could help me out in any way, just may as well say this for a minute. It's very helpful if you know that other people might enjoy tuning into a stream like this, to share it around. Getting more eyeballs is nice. It can add to the conversation. It gives me a bigger group that I can reliably start streaming to, all that good stuff. So that would be helpful, but in any case, just having you here listening is good enough too. But quite a productive session today. Good job. Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it. I do feel great about it so far. But okay, that's enough chit chat. I'm gonna get going. I'll leave everyone to it. Yeah, thanks. Have a good one, okay? Stay happy, stay healthy, all that good stuff. I'll see you later. Bye. Looks good to me. I was trying to figure it out. Thank you. Looks good to me. All right. Bye-bye.